Hey guys, in this video, we're going to talk about whether you should hire an agency or build out a paid acquisition team internally. My name is Meredith. I'm the creative director at Biddyco. We help e-commerce companies scale their paid traffic. So let's get into it. So maybe you're currently working with an agency and things aren't necessarily bad, but you're looking at the numbers and you're starting to question whether bringing somebody internally makes more sense financially. Or maybe right now you have somebody on your team who is a dedicated paid acquisition specialist, or you've dumped the job on your marketing director to figure it out and you're thinking, could my campaigns be performing better? So the biggest misconception that we find time and time again is that people think that it takes one person to successfully run paid acquisition. And we're here to tell you that it takes a whole village. Not a big village, but it definitely takes a village in order to run successful campaigns. So we obviously are an agency. From our experience, here is what we believe is kind of the dream team that you would have to hire internally in order to run successful campaigns. And before we get going, I want to say that there's a difference between getting campaigns up and running successful campaigns. It's very, very easy. Facebook makes it too easy to start running campaigns, to start spending money, to start boosting posts. What does that even really mean? What we can tell you though is that it takes a lot of expertise and time to run campaigns that are going to give you a high return on your investment and that are going to help take your brand to the next level. So here are the 4 positions that you need. So you first need an ads manager, and this is somebody who's going to be in the weeds day to day. They are going to be kind of your lead point person on the success or failure of your campaigns. They're going to be optimizing, bidding, budgeting, strategizing. Number 2, you need an account manager supervisor. So ideally, this is somebody who is a little bit more senior, has a broader perspective of the advertising landscape, somebody who can be a second set of eyes, and really somebody to help mentor them, to help grow them so that they can help grow your campaigns. Number 3, a designer. I know what you're thinking. We already have a designer, but there's a lot of creative that goes into social campaigns and a lot more than I think you realize. So if your designer's already stretched, this is literally going to break the camel's back. Number 4, same goes for our copywriter. Again, social campaigns take a lot of creative, designs, and copy. And then, this is kind of like a 5th, but we'll just keep it as a 4th. Ideally, somebody, either the designer or the copywriter, has some type of senior level position. So maybe they're the creative director, or they have more of a perspective on what kind of creative, what type of narrative you guys want to use when launching campaigns. So already we're at 4 people, and really you could use 5. And because I love a good old-fashioned pro-con list, we're going to do one right now. And we are going to start with the pros of hiring somebody in-house. Here we go. Number 1, the person is in-house. So they're in the office, it's easier to communicate, they're literally, 10 to 50 feet away from you at any given point in time. Number 2, they better understand your brand. This is a little debatable, but we'll go with it. We'll put this on the pro side. Number 3, they're probably more clued in to all of the other marketing initiatives, marketing directives, events that you guys have going on within your team. Number 4, they're only looking at your campaigns all day. So they're super dedicated. But that's also a huge con. So let's just move straight to the cons list. So they're only looking at your campaigns all day, and you lose a lot of perspective. So something that we see a lot is that, social advertising can be 100% a rabbit hole. And when you're in your campaigns and something's going wrong or something's going right, it's really hard to gauge whether that is normal or average or what's really going on. So perspective is huge, and when you're in-house, there is none. The second is that it's way more expensive. You got to think about this is bringing on a full-time employee. And I'm not just talking about the salary. I'm talking about the space that they take up. I'm talking about the benefits. I'm talking about the PTO. And beyond that too, hiring an employee, you have to manage that person. You have to grow that person. You have to invest in that person. And that cannot be discounted. It's easy to, because it's a lot of the stuff that you don't see or think about. But that stuff all adds up, and it's expensive. It can be worth it, but it's expensive. The second is that it takes a long, long time to hire somebody really, really good. And chances are somebody who's really, really good is going to be really, really expensive. Something that, if you're not even sure social is going to work for you, is a huge risk to take. And beyond that, if you don't really understand the ins and outs of how social advertising works, it's probably accurate to say that you don't have a clear set of metrics for what you're hiring for. You don't really know what you're looking for. The last thing is that if they don't perform, it can be extremely costly to bring an employee on and then unfortunately have to let them go. Nobody likes firing somebody. But, after 4 months, 4 to 5 months, if they're just not as good as you thought they were going to be, not getting the hang of it, you've got to take somebody's livelihood away, and that is probably the worst feeling in the entire world. And we don't want you to have to go through that. So we're putting it on the cons list. Now let's talk about the pros of working with an agency. So the first being, as we've said, it feels like the common theme in this video, perspective. And we cannot stress how big of a difference that makes. So when you're working with an agency, more than likely, they're going to be working with a handful of accounts. It's helpful if the accounts are aligned with what you're doing. So e-commerce, retail, consumer products, so you can really see the trends. But that type of perspective, that type of large picture view is so helpful, because if something's working in another campaign, it's so easy to then implement that into your campaign. If something's not working, it's so easy to edit that out of your campaigns. If something crashes or if something rises, you can have a broader perspective in seeing okay, is this an overall trend or is this just my account? So we can't stress this enough. Perspective, perspective, perspective. Okay, I'm done talking about perspective. Okay, also, they can be quickly brought on board. Again, hiring somebody internally or more than one person internally can take eons. I mean, hiring is a long, long road. If you've ever hired anybody, you know exactly what I'm talking about. An agency can be dropped in and usually can be up and running within 3 weeks. Beware of anybody that says they can launch campaigns in 1 week or less. That means that they're probably not doing their homework and not doing a proper campaign setup. So again, now you might debate me on this, but I do think that they are more cost effective. You're not paying for anybody's health insurance. You're not paying your time to monitor and develop and manage. They take care of themselves and they make you money, or they should be. They should be making you money. Again, more experienced team. You've got people who've been working in campaigns 24/7 for years, sometimes working on your accounts. That type of expertise is invaluable and something that you cannot always get from a direct hire, especially if you don't have the budget to pay somebody who is at a senior director level working on social advertising. That type of person could cost you a lot. And an agency is definitely way cheaper and probably even more experienced. So another thing is there's a lot of software that goes into managing social advertising campaigns, and you may not realize it. But I think just our company alone spends around $2,000 a month on different types of softwares that help your campaigns run better. So whether it's automation, it's analytics, it's comment moderation, it's competitor research, that stuff all adds up. And again, it takes away from your bottom line. When you work with an agency, these are things that they're more than likely not going to charge you for. If somebody does try and charge you for that, question that. That's weird. The last one, well, I think there's 2 more, would be, you're working with a team, not just one person. More more brains equals more ideas, which usually equals more money, unless all the brains are thinking the same. And then again, this is the biggest thing, is that if they are not performing, you can get rid of them. And that's kind of a harsh way to say, end your working relationship, but the risk is so much lower. It is so much easier to end your relationship with an agency than it is to end your relationship with an employee. And, for your heart and for your sanity, walking away from an agency is just a lot easier. So those are the big pros. Let's move on to the cons. And I only have two. The first one is they're not in your office. And we do really see how that can be a con for a lot of people. The immediacy of working with somebody every day, in and out, 24/7, it does have benefits. So you want to make sure that you're working with an agency that really values communication. And that should be at the forefront of what they're presenting to you when you have that first initial get to know each other conversation. And the last one would be that, maybe they might not be as in tune with the bigger picture, with what your goals are, with where you want to go, with what your marketing calendar looks like. But again, if you're with the right agency that can set up a strong communication flow from the beginning, this shouldn't be an issue. But again, they're cons. We'll put, we gotta have some cons. So those are the cons. Obviously, we are an agency, so I am extremely biased, but I'm also not going to sit here and tell you that certain companies shouldn't build out an internal paid acquisition arm. A lot of people who have huge companies and have a very, very robust hiring department, maybe this is easy. Maybe this is like no sweat. Bringing on 4 people is a drop in the bucket. But if you're a smaller company and you're just getting started, or you're really looking to scale, bringing on, 3 to 4 to 5 new hires is really not the type of financial burden that you need right now, nor the manpower burden, the managing burden. It's just not the easiest way to get started. The second question that we feel like comes up quite a bit is, well, can't I just have my marketing director manage it? And if there are any marketing directors out there that don't already have enough on their plate, please email me, because I have never met any marketing director or marketing manager that's like, I'm bored. I have nothing to do. My job is a breeze. I wear one hat and just one. That's not a thing. Don't do that to your marketing director. They're not going to be happy. It's not a great way to keep great talent on your team. More than likely, they're probably already drowning in responsibilities and daily tasks. And this is not, how do I say this nicely? This is not something that you just drop on somebody if you want to do it well. If you want campaigns that are going to make you money, that are going to move your business to the next level, it can't be an afterthought. It just can't. It has to be a dedicated intention to get into social advertising. And if that's hiring an internal team of 4 or bringing on an agency, it's like, don't spend the money if you're not going to do it right, because the Facebook machine, it will take your money. It will take all of it, and it won't even apologize for it. And it doesn't even care if you make money. I mean, ultimately it does, because you'll spend more, but do it right. Don't skimp out. More often than not, we get a lot of small business owners, medium-sized business owners, or marketing directors at huge, massive companies coming to us absolutely thrilled for us to just take it off their hands. And if you're with the right agency, that's exactly how it should feel. It should feel effortless. It should feel great. It should feel financially lucrative. And it should be your favorite check to write every single month, if they're doing a good job. So if you're a small to medium-sized business, or even a large brand that doesn't really have the hiring capacity to completely build out a new marketing channel arm to your existing team, hiring an agency probably is the best bet. And again, you're the only one who can make that decision, but we thought we would equip you with all of the facts. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you found this helpful, please send it to somebody who might be going through this question right now. Should I hire somebody, or should I go with an agency? If you liked what you watched, please subscribe below. And if after listening to this, you're like, wow, we would love to work with an agency, please let us know. We'd love to work with you. And there's a link in the description to get in touch with us. Otherwise, I will be back next week with another great video, hopefully. And I mean, I'll be back next week. I hope it's great though. And I'll see you guys soon.